Welcome to Applied Technology Podcast. Talking technology, you're talking applied. Welcome to our ATG podcast. We're very excited for now our fourth episode. Today we have the topic of discussion, two-way radio systems. And with me today, I have Mark and Gene. They'll go ahead and present themselves. But we are very excited because this topic is something that we would almost call it as a comeback. Mark, I know I already said your name, but please introduce yourself, your title in the company, and how long you've been here.
Mark Alexander, systems manager here at ATG, going on 14 years.
And I also have Gene with us here today. Gene, what's your title in the company and how long have you been here?
Hi, good morning. Gene Hansen, technical operations manager. I've been here 15 years.
Going to the topic of discussion, I wanted to go ahead and start by asking, what are two-way radios?
Well, two-way radio systems have traditionally been used by public safety agencies over the years to communicate in times of emergency and to dispatch units, as opposed to cellular calls where you would just call one person. You're able to communicate with your entire fleet and dispatch a team to an incident. It's been prevalent in public safety, and there were many, many years where it was widely used in construction, oil and gas, water industries. Mm-hmm. That started to fade away over the last 15, 20 years. Nextel started to come onto the scene and actually started to scoop some of that traffic away on the radio systems. Then over the years, everybody started to get a cell phone. Everybody thought that the cell phone was the greatest way to communicate. As a result, the two-way radio system kind of faded away for many years, and it was just kind of forgotten about by most industries. So we're starting to see a resurgence, and it has to do with the fact that in times of an emergency, we are finding that cellular communications are not reliable. When you have an earthquake, everybody pulls out their phone and TikToks a video of what's going on in their house or what's shaking, and that literally just brings the system to its knees, and there's no way around it. There's no way to get people to not use it unless they need it. Yeah. So two-way radios have started to come back on the scene because these smaller agencies that aren't necessarily public safety, but schools, construction companies, and other companies that typically communicate for day-to-day operations. They're tired of not being able to reach their workers. They're tired of getting voicemail or people playing on their phones while they're supposed to be getting work done. So we're starting to see a resurgence, a big one.
Interesting. I was going to ask because what you mentioned about Nextel, that was actually my first phone.
Same.
Yeah. Very interesting. It's interesting to see how throughout the years sort of the communication has changed.
There's another layer to that people quickly forgot when they started communicating on cell phones. It's the idea that if someone has a tool that I need, I could just broadcast on my two-way radio system, and I could reach all of my workers at the same time and ask all of them the same question at the same time. And if someone is near me and has that tool I need for a job, they can get there quickly. And with cellular phones, it might be afternoon by the time you find out someone has what you need, and they may not even be available to help you.
Well, even with the cellular phones, you're not always going to get that person because they could be out of range.
Yeah.
So
no signal.
Yeah. So with the two-way radios, it's instant communication.
It sounds like two-way systems, it's almost like a must nowadays, especially with emergencies or last minute things that happen, or we're in Bakersfield, but it's like there was an earthquake one time, and to be able to communicate fast and efficient is very important, which leads me to my next question. Mark, if you can fill us in a little bit more about what's the safety, durability, productivity, and efficiency of two-way radios.
Sure. I think one of the biggest things is definitely safety. Well, we'll just put it at this. We live on a fault line. If there's an earthquake and some people are injured, a lot of times, and we've seen this, with even fires going in California, where people can't use their cell phones. There's not a way out because the cell phone towers are so congested. When you have a two-way radio and you're having that communication back and forth, you can actually get help to that person with just a click of a button. So the safety aspect of that alone is magnificent. So we live on the West Coast, so we don't get the hurricanes, but even in Florida and Texas and some of these the coastal areas where you get those natural disasters, you're instantaneously, you're going to get help.
Yeah.
So, which is a must. Now, the efficiency of radios. Your radio's a tool, just like a shovel where you're digging a hole for dirt. The two-way radio is a tool that you carry with you that gets you that communication. So if you're in a rural area and you're not able to, get out with a cell phone because there's no signal, there's no towers out there. Well, guess what? Your two-way radio is going to work. So, and it helps you. Say Gene's in Mojave Desert and he needs a tool, and I'm over here in Bakersfield, but I got a guy in Ridgecrest that's only 30 minutes drive, and we have the same tool. Well, guess what? It's a 30-minute drive to get out there to get Gene his tool to complete his job. So I would say that's pretty efficient. So, and it does kind of lead into your, productivity. It keeps things at a quick pace. So, you do have the instant communication to where if you're going kind of with a cell phone, sometimes you have to scroll through, you look for the name. Oh, was it this person's name? What was the number that called me? Oh, there's multiple numbers. How do this one, it's a click of a button. So you can talk to one person or you can talk to many persons. And kind of go on the durability of the radios. They're meant to take a beating. A lot of the radios are pretty well taken care of. So, but the durability of the radios, I've seen them, dropped, ran over, and I've seen them still work. But overall, the biggest factor is the safety value of that tool to be able to get help when needed.
When it comes to saving lives, especially in natural disasters, as you were mentioning, you want to use what's best, the best tool of them. Gene, who would need these radios? I'm talking industry. Can someone day to day have a two radio? Would it be better for an industry, a company? What's your thoughts on that?
It's a good question. I think any company it could benefit from two-way radios and the use of two-way radios, but what we're really seeing a huge resurgence in, it would be the school districts. Over the last probably 5 to 10 years, with the lockdown situations, with the on-campus, safety type incidents, drills. They're having to do drills more often, earthquake drills. They do the big shakeout every year. We have emergency buttons that can be programmed into the radios that will allow when that emergency button is pressed, it notifies specific administrators and they can hear that alert, and then what it does is it opens the mic for a period of say 30 seconds or 5 minutes where you hit the emergency button and set the radio on the table, and it will broadcast everything that's going on in that classroom without if the shooter's in the room, they will not be aware. There won't be any audio coming back through that radio. So it allows you to broadcast the situation, which gives the public safety agencies huge awareness of the situation they're about to approach. Right. The two-way radios have definitely started to come back in the front of the conversations again. They're being used more widely, and our local Kern County, we're improving our local school district radio systems. We've been working on it for several years now. It will take several more because a lot of them are antiquated. A lot of them were kind of left in, I won't call it shambles, but they just hadn't been supported for many years because cell phones are cool. And, it's just bottom line. And then IP phones got installed in all the schools and all, so they just didn't use them as much anymore.
The iPhones are always needing updates and stuff like that. This is something that you don't have to deal with two-way radios.
So we can do firmware updates in the radios, but it doesn't change much. Generally, they're very solid state devices. They don't they don't have a lot of built-in intelligence. You program the intelligence into them. So
they don't malfunction.
Right.
You don't
they don't. Yeah. I mean, how many of us have received, hey, I called you. Why didn't you pick up? And you look at your phone and you have zero intel.
Calls,
you have no information that anybody ever called or anything. Yeah. We want to be upset about it, but we're used to the phones making mistakes, and we accept it now, and it shouldn't be acceptable.
Yeah, I always tell my phone whenever my malfunctions, I'm like, there's nothing smart about you.
Right, yeah.
Because it's a smartphone, and I'm like, doesn't feel like you're being very smart right now. And this is something that with two-way radios, you don't have to deal with. So that's talk about like we were talking about efficiency. As my last question, why do people need two-way radio systems?
My thing is safety. Someone's on the 7th floor of a building as a construction crew. Somebody, say steps on a nail, trips and falls, breaks their leg, and there's nobody up on that 7th floor. It's instant communication to get that person help. So I look at it as the safety aspect of it because you're going to get help usually right away.
I would layer onto that by just saying that dependability. Our systems are reliable, and we don't oversell them. If I know the capacity of our radio system and the sites that support it, and we very thoughtfully add people to our system. And if we need more capacity, we don't sell subscriptions over our system's capacity, which is what the cellular industries have done for years. And that's how FirstNet came about, because they oversold their system. So now they are overselling FirstNet. So that's a whole different discussion. But what I would say is that we efficiently load our systems so that if there is a time of emergency and everybody needed to key up at the same time, we are better prepared to have the capacity to support that radio traffic than a cellular system would.
Right. This is amazing. This is amazing information. I mean, if I'm learning a lot, I'm pretty sure our audience is learning a lot, if not more than they already knew. But anything you gentlemen would like to add?
Thanks for letting me get excited about two-way. This is my thing. This is what I like to talk about.
That's awesome.
And it's an everyday venture for us.
Well, Mark,
Well, and give me a problem to solve too, because
Agree with
I can make cell phones talk to radios. I can make two different radio systems talk together. I can do all kinds of different things. Let's sit down and
awesome.
give me some problems to solve.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, gentlemen, Mark, Gene, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your knowledge on two-way radios. I'm going to go buy two-way radios because you never know. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely a topic of discussion that is very important, especially nowadays. We invite you guys to check our other episodes, episode 1, 2, and 3, from our Applied Technology podcast YouTube videos. But also, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and include Mark and Gene's names and emails at the bottom of this by the comment section. So if you guys are interested in two-way radios, you guys can go ahead and contact them, and they'll be more than happy to help you guys with that. Mark, Gene, thank you so much for joining me again.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.